Hey, welcome back, America, to your Caribou Data Science channel. A big shout out to the 3 people who watched the video yesterday. When I give a shout out, I'm very sincere because I know you all got something else you could be doing rather than watching COVID-19 videos. Okay, so thank you so much for those 3 views. Now, the other thing is, before we get started here, if you look in the description below, you will see a link to my Twitter channel. Now, there's not a lot there right now, but I'd really appreciate it if you click on that Twitter link and follow me on Twitter this evening, okay? So let's just get on with the U.S. report here. I actually got a couple extra reports to show you this evening. It's just they're kind of fun reports, okay? So let's start with this here. Let's see if this works here. We're going to look at, I've been taking a course called Statistics with R, and we've been talking about things like histograms and stuff like that. So I did a couple of histograms for the U.S. COVID-19 data. Let's just see what this looks like. Okay, let's zoom in here. So this is a histogram. Did I spell histogram right? It should be H-A, histogram, not histogram. Cases by year 2020, 21. Now, to me, the first thing I think we notice is, as we say in statistics, well, this is an unsymmetric. These both are unsymmetric. They are both right skewed. Okay. The numbers represent these dash numbers represent plus and minus 1 standard deviation. Okay. The green line is the median, and the red line is the mean or the average. So you can see in both these cases here, the skew to the right pulls the mean to the right of the median line. Okay, the median is the 50% is the 50-50 dividing line, as opposed to average, which is the average of all the reported numbers here. So you can see 2021's cases have a much lower profile. Okay, unsymmetric, unimodal, both of them right skewed. Okay, again, the dash lines are the plus or minus 1 standard deviation. And supposedly, in theory, 70% of the number should fall within uh, plus or minus 1 standard deviation. Is that actually true? I don't know. But anyway, so what this is, this line here, like I said, is a count. So it counts the number of times that the x-axis is the number of cases. So each column represents a count of the number of cases. Okay. This here counts the number of times that that case count appears. Okay. So again, this is the cases. Now let's take a look at the deaths. Okay, and again, interestingly enough, I don't see quite as much difference between 2020 deaths and 2021 deaths. Not nearly as much. They're both. I'm still going to call this unimodal, because if you drop the wet noodle here, it'll probably come back down to here. Okay. Same thing over here. Right skewed, uh, unimodal, unsymmetric. Okay. Plus or minus 1 standard deviation. Again, you can see that the mean is to the left of the mean. So can we generalize and say any time that can we generalize and say that the mean is always going to be on the side of the trail, of the side of the tail? Okay, how's that for a statement? Generate. All right, unimodal, unsymmetric, so forth, blah blah blah. Okay, now let's get it back over to the more serious stuff. Okay, let's get over here to the more serious stuff. Not one measly viewer. Okay, America. And one of the things that's kind of curious about the way America counts COVID-19 data is that, well, we start from the very first case and the very first deaths. Now, why that's unusual is because when you take diseases like, say, cancer or heart disease, okay, uh, cancer or heart disease, those are counted 1 year at a time, okay? So anyway, since January 2020, we've had, that's called 44 million cases. And since the end of February 2020, we've had 703,278 deaths. Okay? Now, if you look over here, you can see the numbers for this year. A long declining pattern down to July. And you see this in other countries also. Then we had this huge spike back up here. Now the eternal question is how many of these people here were vaccinated? Because what we have to keep in mind about the vaccination is that it doesn't keep us from getting COVID-19. It may keep us from dying from COVID-19 because it'll certainly reduce the severity of the disease, but it will not. But there's no guarantee that we can still die from COVID-19 if we get the vaccine. And you can certainly get cases. Okay. So the headline read, the U.S. has passed the number of cases in 2021 has passed the number of cases of 2020. Well, what does that tell us about the vaccine's effectiveness in preventing COVID-19? Okay. Now let's take a look at deaths. Again, the long declining pattern, now deaths are increasing in July. So again, the question is how many of these people were vaccinated? Is anybody even tracking these numbers? So this is what they're talking about. Yes, we had more cases this year than last year, but of course we over 50% full vaccination rate. Why are we still getting cases? Because the vaccine doesn't keep you from getting COVID-19. Okay? And deaths for 2020 have caught 2020s now officially. Of course, the question is how many of these people were vaccinated? Now, if we come down here, what I want you to look at is just the period from July to July. It's almost like a mirror. It's almost like clockwork, as we say. I mean, it's how can that be? How can the numbers go up in the second half of the year and decline in the first half of the year? And the same thing with deaths. Okay. This is the cases by quarter. Well, the third quarter this year was the third most cases so far of any quarter. All right. Now, the third quarter for deaths, well, the good news is it was only the third most also, okay? What about these numbers here? These are just some hopefully daily numbers. Let's just zoom in here a little more. So you can see down here, we were as of the 10th, October the 4th, we were averaging 11,181 cases per day. Okay. Oh, hey, Janet, I'll be back with you in like 5 minutes. I'm finishing up a video on the other channel. Okay. But you know what I can do here? Okay. Hey, thanks for stopping back by again this evening. So anyway, as you can see here, as of October 4th, we had 169,207 cases with an average of 111,181. What about weekly cases? Okay, this is a non-moving average. Uh, yeah, Jan, if yeah, Juan, I'm gonna pick back up in a couple of minutes on the tutorial on the RStudio R tutorials again. I'm going to kind of walk through those a little bit in case someone's interested. Okay. So these are weekly cases. The question is how many of these people were vaccinated? Okay. So I have two. So I have two views. I want. So if so, you're one of the two views, Juan. My question is, who is the other viewer out there who's lurking in the shadows? Stop by the chat session and say hi. Okay. So anyway, cases. Now what about deaths? How many of these people were vaccinated here? Monthly cases. Well, you can see that unfortunately cases for September was the one, two, three, fifth most cases so far. Okay, what about deaths? Despite a massive vaccination rate, September deaths was the fourth most so far. And what this number here is kind of fun, and you don't want to pay too much weight in this here, but this basically tells us that somewhere between 25 and say 35, for every 100,000 people in the US, somewhere between 25 and 35 have COVID-19. Now, the one that's even more fun is this one here for deaths, because this line right there is a 0.5%. So what this tells us is for every 100,000 people, okay, a hundred, a half, a half of a person, not a 0.5%, a half of a person is dying from COVID-19 in America. Okay, so anyway, that concludes this report. This report for today.